I was wondering what you've seen out of Darnay Holmes in camp so far. I know he had an interception in that scrimmage, and then he fumbled it at the end of the play, which obviously isn't ideal. But overall, what have you seen out of Darnay, and in particular in the scrimmage too?
Well, the first thing we talked about with Darnay is if you get another interception, stay up the near sideline. Don't cut back across the field to where the big guys are. He's been super competitive. He's a really diligent kid. You know, he's one of those guys that you see him out there early every day working on some part of his game. He's always got, really good questions in the meeting. He's in a really good place right now for a young player. You know, he's got a lot to learn, got a long way to go. But, one thing about the kid, he's competing at it very hard.
It seems like a lot of people talk about him. They say that he plays bigger than his size. Is that something that you agree with?
Absolutely. He's got some natural body strength and some explosiveness that he plays with. And I've been impressed with the young man as a person too, as a student of the game. He's doing a good job. Again, long way to go, but on a good early path.
Coach, I wanted to ask you, you worked with Darrell Revis and I believe Joe Hayden, two very outstanding cornerbacks. What are some of the characteristics that made them so great, and what do you see in the group that you have now that maybe, can carry over?
Well, when you mention guys like that, things at this position, you're going to have guys that are really competitive, that they don't want to lose at anything ever to anybody. And then you got to have great confidence and then a short memory because, any of those guys you name, they're going to have bad plays. They're going to have bad moments. And you just got to know that I'm going to come back the next play with confidence in my technique, confidence in myself, confidence in my ability, and just go out and play the next play. Got to have a short memory at this position.
How hard is that generally for a young guy who's looking to impress the coaching staff?
Yeah, that's one of the things you got to learn is you're never going to play the perfect game, right? But you just got to keep battling, competing, right, to win the next play. Can't do anything about the play that just happened. Can't do anything about the play ahead of this current play. Just be in the moment, win this play. Find a way to win this play.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Hey, Coach, Chris Williamson is a guy that I don't think we've talked about at all and really haven't really seemed to see a whole lot of, throughout camp so far. Just, what are your thoughts on him so far and what he's shown?
Yeah, he's another guy who in the classroom has done a really good job of really detailed note taker. He's into it, asks good question, smart. He stays into meetings. He's had some little tweaks and things going on that's kept him from being in the live part of practice, some of the live parts of practice. So he's a little bit behind that way. And, hopefully, right now he's up and going full. So hopefully we'll see a lot more of him and you'll see a lot more of him and you can start to see him show up a little bit on the practice field.
Jerome, you seem to have quite a few safeties that you guys are either high on or giving a large opportunity to. How are you going to differentiate between, now I'm talking about Hardage, Sean Chandler, guys like that. How will you evaluate and what do you value among these guys? What are you looking for someone who's going to make the team?
Well, all of those guys are competing hard. And like you said, it's a there's a stack of guys kind of really close right now. Right now over the scrimmage Friday and the upcoming things when we're going at higher tempos, all that stuff will work itself out and guys are starting to separate themselves. And you'll be able to hopefully see clearly that this guy is the guy over the next guy. But, it's a long season. And we know that, anybody on our roster is going to play. They're going to play a lot of football. And so my job is to get everybody prepared to play like if you're not the starter now, you may be 2 plays from now. And you got to go in and you got to, act like a starter and play at that level. So I'm pushing all of those guys to play at a high level, demanding a lot from all those guys. And so far, that group has done a good job.
What do you like about Hardage?
He has experience in the system, so that's big. He had experience in the system, experience with Pat last year in Miami, and reliable guy. He's one of those guys that, you know, he just always does the right thing. He's where he's supposed to be. He executes. He's just really steady and reliable.
Jerome Williams, guy who, you know, wasn't on a lot of our radar coming into camp, but he's gotten a lot of reps. What's impressed you about him?
You know, he's one of those guys that's shown some ability that like you, I didn't know a lot about him coming into this. He showed up, and I was like, well, we may have something here. He's competing hard. You know, he's got good athleticism. He's got good size. And, you know, he's got a chance to develop, hopefully, into something, and we'll see where it goes. But he's done a good job of at least grabbing people's attention.
And then what's it like just as a position coach with so many corners with really no or very limited NFL experience? What's that like for you?
Well, there's good and bad to that. You know, one, you get to train them the way you want them to play. So they don't come in with this preconceived notion of this is how I play, coach. So that's the good part. And all those guys have been sponges that way, you know, just wanting to learn some technique and learn how to play. So it's been a pleasure that way. But then the downside is no real life NFL experience, of game experience and how to handle the heat of the moment and big, you know, we won't have the crowds now, but handling, you know, that's a guy that I last year was watching on TV that I'm now competing against. How do you handle that? So, you know, again, we'll continue to push that group of corners, put them in spots that they've got to challenge and compete. And again, hopefully those guys, again, and they'll start to separate themselves.